Okay, so now we're back on the home screen. So as you can see, there's been an update under My Open Positions. That test position we created has been added. And as you can see, it says out of the interviews sent, one has been completed, but none of them have been evaluated, obviously, because we haven't evaluated it quite yet. Okay, so let's talk about these tabs you see on top. We have positions, evaluations, and candidates. So remember, My Open Positions are all those positions that you yourself have created. When you go to the Positions tab, these are all the positions you have visibility to, which may be slightly different than those on your home screen. And as you move forward with HireVue, this list may get kind of lengthy, but don't let that worry you. You have those two same sorting options that you do on your home page. So you can always look for a candidate, or I'm sorry, you can always look for a position by name, or you can use those same sorting options that I showed you on the home screen. You can also archive a position. So if you've created a position, you filled it, you can simply archive it, and your list of archived positions will always be here. And then under Actions, you will have the opportunity to reopen it if you need to. So let's go back to the open positions. And remember, anytime you see a play button in HireVue, that means you can watch an interview. So we're going to go to this test position, and we're going to hit the play button, and I'm going to show you how to evaluate interviews. Okay, so starting from left to right, the first thing you notice is you can filter candidates by name. As I mentioned, on almost every screen we go to, you will be able to filter by name. You can also sort your candidates here. You can sort them by any number of items, by random, first name, last name, most recent, but the two you really want to look for is my rating and my recommendation, and I'm going to tell you why those are important in just a second. Now, if we move to the right-hand side here, you see a line of numbers. These represent the questions that were in the interviews that were created. And as you can see, I'm jumping around quite a bit. And what that means is that you do not have to watch this interview in order. You can watch it in whatever order you like to. In fact, we really recommend that you start with the question that's the most important to you. So in this case, we'll say it's question number 2. Okay, so what days of the week can you work? And let's say we're really looking for somebody who can work on a Saturday or Sunday. So this top candidate cannot work on Saturday or Sunday, so I gave them 1 star for this answer. And as you continue to evaluate your candidates and rate them per question, you'll be building an average rating for your candidate that you'll see up here. And if you remember back when we created the position and I said it's really important to be able to score or rate per question, this is why. Okay, and then I also mentioned that we have a speed evaluation tool. And if you see this up arrow here and this down arrow here, this is exactly what that tool looks like. So we're on question number 2 on our top candidate over here. Her name is Erin. So I'm going to scroll down and see how Chad answered the question. He can work on Saturday and Sunday, which is great because that's what we need. So I gave him 5 stars. And now we're going to go down and see how Phil answered. Well, he cannot, so he got 1 star. Okay, so let's go to the next question. We'll say that one's number 1, and this is a video response. So with a video response in HireVue, it's just like watching a YouTube video. It's very simple. You can play, you can pause, and then you can change the volume or make it the full screen. Okay? So as we watch this video...
The reason I applied to this position is I think that this is actually a very good fit for my background.
Perfect. So as you can see, and it will be more clear when you see this live. Obviously, being recorded, there is a slight delay. But as he's talking, we're going to say that he answered okay, so we'll give him 2 stars. And again, we're building this average rating. And then I also want to point out this tagging feature. Tagging is really a neat tool. What you can do is tag your candidates with bona fide occupational qualifications. Okay, so I'm going to hit this tag button, and I've already tagged him with relocate and 3 years experience. So I'm going to tag him again, and we'll say he also has an MBA. So these tags are going to live with him throughout his life in HireVue, and those tags are searchable. I'm going to show you that and show you what a neat tool this is. Okay, so let's go back to the speed evaluator. So we're going to now go up to Chad and see how he answered this question. Okay, so we say he's talking, and I'm going to give him 2 stars, and I'm going to click this left arrow here, so don't let that worry you. So again, we're building his average rating, and so now we're going to go up to Erin, and we gave her 5 stars for her response. Okay, so something to keep in mind here, that as you continue to evaluate your candidate, you do not have to watch this whole interview to determine whether this candidate's viable or not. At this point, we may scroll down to Phil, and we know that he cannot work the schedule we need, and we didn't like his video response, so he may not be a viable candidate for us. So I'm going to go ahead and do my recommendation for hire as no on Phil. And then as we scroll up, we'll say, Chad, well, he did okay, not our best candidate, but he's still in the running of the
So
top
I
does not accept the position. Okay, so I put a maybe for him. And then when we scroll up to Erin, and we think she's our best candidate, so I gave her a yes for recommendation for hire. So let's go back over here to sorting. Okay, so you can do two things here. You can sort by your rating, which is the order that they're in, and then you can also sort by my recommendation. So if you expand this out and think of if you had maybe 30 or 40 candidates that you're evaluating, you can see what a valuable tool that is. As you go through and rate those candidates, you can continue to rate them, sort them by that rating, and then your top candidates will bubble to the very top of your list, and those are the ones you want to spend the most time on. And then once you've identified those top candidates, you're going to want to share them. Okay, so we're on Erin here. She's our top candidate. So right under the tag button, if you see the evaluators button, if I click on this, I can share this with one of my hiring managers or one of my clients. So we're going to say Chuck is one of my managers that I want to share the interview with. His information defaults in, and all I have to do is click add, and it'll go right to him. Now, if your person you want to send it to is not in HireVue, so there's no Ann here. Oops, actually there is an Ann here. Why don't we try, we'll try Bobby. Okay, so there's no Bobby. So what we'll do is we'll make an email address for Bobby. At Gmail. Okay, then all they have to do is his first name's already in here, so put his last name in, click add, and this will get sent to him. Very simple to do that. So that is how you view, rate, and evaluate and share your interviews that you're going to be receiving. So let's go back. So that's the positions tab. Again, it's the list of positions you have visibility to. When you click the play button, you'll be able to evaluate all those candidates who've taken interviews for that position. So let's go to the evaluations tab. So this lists all the evaluations you have to do. So under the to-do tab, we still have to evaluate the one that we just did. And obviously to do that, you can click on this Start Evaluating button or the Play button. And again, we have a search box here. So if you do have a long list of candidates, don't let that worry you. You can always search by name. Now, we also have a Completed button here. So these are all the ones that we just completed. And as you can see, even though they're completed, there's a play button here. So even though you've completed that evaluation, you can still watch that interview again. Now, what makes an interview go from to do to completed is pretty simple. You have to rate at least one question and give a final recommendation for hire. And once you do those two things, so use those two evaluation tools, the evaluation will switch from to do to completed. Okay? All right, so let's go to the Candidates tab now. As with the Positions tab, I said in the Positions tab, those are all the positions you have visibility to. Same thing with the Candidates. These are all the candidates that you have visibility to. So again, you're going to end up with a very long list of candidates here, but do not let that worry you. You can always search by name. You have this great sorting function here. But on this tab, you also have a filter, and this filter is probably what you're going to use, and it's really a fantastic tool. You can search for tags. So if you remember, we had put some tags on people, so I'm going to click on relocate. So if I want to search for all the people that I said could relocate, here comes Phil, because we had tagged him with that. Okay, so I'm going to click the X to take that filter off. So I'm going to click the filter button again. So let's say we wanted to filter all those candidates by what position they applied for. So we'll say we want to see everybody who applied for this test position, who Mike invited, and maybe we also want only people with an MBA. And then also we only want people who've applied within the last 15 days. And I can click done, and then there's Phil again. Okay, so I want to again X one more time here and go back to the filter. The one last thing I wanted to show you on this filter is that if you create one that looks kind of like what I just did, you can actually save the filter where it says save this filter. Then you can name it filter 3 and click save. So if that's something that you're going to be using all the time, it's very easy just to put those parameters in there, save it, and then go to load filter, and then it's right there for you. So you don't have to put in those parameters again. So two more things I want to show you on how to use HireVue. If you've noticed as we've gone through the system, there's been a search box on this top bar, and it's always here, it never goes anywhere. And this allows you to search for a candidate. So let's say, for instance, we want to find somebody whose name is Shannon. Well, Shannon's interviewed for 2 positions, and here they are, so you can simply click on it and go right to it. You also can search for those tags. So if you know you need somebody who can relocate and you're using the tags and using that word relocate, simply put it in here and then the candidate with that tag will pop right up for you. And you may have a long list, but there's a lot of value there. If you think if you're sitting at your desk and you have a client call and say, hey, I have to have somebody with an MBA, all you have to do is type in MBA and you can say, hey, I have 5 candidates for you, I'll send them right over. Fantastic tool. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is this question mark. And this is actually information we went over during the PowerPoint. This first section is the hub, and the hub is a HireVue community. So I highly urge that you go to the hub, sign in, and you can see how other HireVue users are using our system. But what I really wanted to show you is HireVue support. So I know I gave you a long list of support options at the beginning, but again, if you ever need us, please call us. We have 24/7 support, so you can call us, you can email us, anything that you need, we're going to be here to support you. Well, thank you for your time today, and I hope you found this valuable. And again, if you have any questions whatsoever about HireVue, please reach out and let us know.